Alright, so we are going to do our first normal takeoff today. On a long runway, it's 2 kilometers long. We're here in Innsbruck, Austria, taking off to the east, which reminds me to set the gyro. Alright. Now let's talk about the procedure again for a moment. We'll release the brakes, then we'll slowly, but not too slow, add power until we reach takeoff power, so the throttle is full forward. Keep the ailerons neutral, we don't have any crosswind. Make sure the trim is set for takeoff. And then at 50 knots, our rotation speed, slowly pull back on the control column. Then the airplane will start to fly, and then we'll fly a speed of 60 knots. For the initial climb today, that's okay. Vx to clear any closing obstacles would be 54. But the runway is 2 kilometers long, we don't have any closing obstacles, so I'm not really need to fly Vx. I'm flying a bit faster, that's more convenient, but still close to Vx because I want to climb pretty quickly. Still, because we're taking off in the direction of a residential area, and of course having an engine failure would be really bad. So we try to gain as much altitude in as little distance as possible. Alright, also remember you will need right rudder because the propeller effects will turn us to the left. Also now try to find a reference point on the horizon. You can use that that mountain, for example, that mountain peak that is more or less in the direction of the runway, so that you have a reference point for the runway track. So you just keep steering towards that reference point, and this will make sure that you will keep your track after liftoff. Alright, we'll do this without flaps because the runway is 2 kilometers long, so it's a very long runway. We don't need flaps for that, and without the flaps we'll also have a better climb performance after liftoff. Make sure not to pull the airplane off the ground too early and then start a climb, because then the airplane will only be flying in ground effect, and as soon as you exit ground effect it will settle down to the runway. So make sure you have those 50 knots, slowly rotate. If you're too slow, then maintaining ground effect and then continue climb. But normally we should have those 60 knots pretty quickly, so you can then just climb with those 60 knots. Okay, now first of all I'm going to demonstrate the propeller effects. So I'm adding some power, but I'm not applying right rudder. And then you'll see how the airplane is going to turn to the left. Okay, let's try it. Just adding power and no rudder. And you see it's going to the left. Okay, let's stop again. And back to the center line. And this time we'll try again, but using right rudder. Alright, so let's go. Slowly. Well, not too slow, not too fast actually. We add power. And now we use right rudder to maintain a runway center line. And at 50 knots, pull back on the yoke to rotate. Then we have already 60 knots, so you can pull back further to maintain those 60 knots. Still some right rudder to center the ball and the turn and bank indicator. And then try to fly towards your reference point. It's hard to see over the nose right now. And then we reach 500 feet above ground, so I'm now accelerating a little bit. Also makes it easier to see our reference point. And I'm continuing my climb now with 75 knots. Offers me a better visibility over the cowling. Alright, we did it. Our first takeoff. This concludes this lesson. See you in the next one.